Good morning, children of the light. We're the children of the light. We keep believing, believing, believing. We're the children of the light, children of the light. Good morning, soul rebels, the ones that have courageously and humbly and devotionally come here live. We call this Tuesday morning live. Excuse me for a second. I'm going to let one of the doodles out to greet the other doodle. But we'll let him all in now. Can you see the fur? Anyway, everyone's got to be part of this celebration of soul and spirit. We are talking today about the sage, the sage. Now, I've tried to break that down to an acronym this morning, and the only thing I come up thus far with is SAGE, S-A-G-E, soul and God eternally. Soul and God eternally, all right? Or eternal, soul and God. I think I did it right, right? S, soul, A, and G, God, E, sage, soul and God eternally. When are we going to get this oneness thing locked in a little deeper? Maybe this morning, right? It's exactly what we're talking about, what the Clarks just wrote, forever love and light, forever love and light. When are we going to get this forever thing? This unconditional, this absolute union with spirit. Nothing else is real. And that is across the board with anything and everything in this manifested world. And that is just the dream. That is not, it's a hologram, right? It's made up. You're making this story of your life up, right? So be careful what you're making up about yourself in this world. But we're getting a lot of help here with the sage advice from the Bhagavad Gita, right? The sage advice of Yogananda's commentary, the sage advice of your soul just talking to you while you sit here and listen and absorb and are so sincere and so dedicated and in a deep sense that maybe it's so deep we don't even have an inkling of how deep it is. And we don't really have yet the experience deep enough, right? But that's the joy of the journey. The joy, JJ, the joy of the journey is to wake up bit by bit with every heartbeat. We're going to look at how we're going to use breath and heartbeat here soon coming up. After we finish, well, we did finish actually the verse 16, but I'm going to recap the last paragraph, which is on page 690 of that verse 16, before we jump into verse 17, 18, which is combined as one verse today. And we're going to get to in these next two verses what I mean by this idea of, this complete resignation and complete surrender to this unique romance that you have with the supreme spirit itself, with all that is itself, unique romance that each soul has with God. And it's going to now be summed up and then expounded upon in the next verses 17, 18 coming up. But let me read on the top of page 690, this last paragraph that I read last week, which if I were to say today, what is the essence of the Bhagavad Gita? And I'd probably start by reading this. The essence. This is all you need to know. All right. And we talked about the four types of seekers, right? All good because they're seeking. But some still have selfish motives, still others want the gifts a little more than the giver, right? They want to make a deal with God, so to speak. And there's those that want complete fulfillment, in this world and then beyond. And there's the fourth one. And that's where we're going to focus on today. We call it the sage, soul and God eternally. That's it. Soul and you, beloved, eternally. That's it. That's all I want to know. The fourth class of men and women are the sages, defined in the next verse as the greatest of all. So, you want to be the greatest of all? You want to have the greatest day of all? Let's put it that way. You can look at it on many levels, right? But, life without the highest kind of ideal, without the highest kind of purpose, and that purpose and ideal aligned with the truth as we understand the truth through this so-called scripture of the Bhagavad Gita, and of course Yogananda's commentary, and of course your goodwill and your awakening heart and soul makes it just so much more enjoyable, right? You can consider yourself the greatest of all as you sit here and breathe and let that little heartbeat on its own and the breathing on its own slowly start to convince you and to lure you and to tempt you into this realization you do not live on your own accord. That's a divine love breath that you're breathing, and a heartbeat that is eternal cosmic love. Okay. Their goal, then, this fourth class of souls called the sages, their goal is not the acquisition of knowledge, nor do they seek the Lord for any ulterior purpose. They have already attained steady wisdom and divine communion. Such souls, liberated from the temptations and attachments of delusion, perpetually united to God within their hearts. Here's what the sage is: unconditionally love him. Steady now, steady as we go. I know we're kind of in a beautiful unfolding process here, right? And we have that steady wisdom and divine communion, and such souls liberated from the temptations and attachments of delusion. And I still love this little gem of a quote from Yogananda. If you were to say, well, what is the purpose of this physical life? Be in the candy store, but don't touch the candy. Be in the candy store, but don't touch the candy. Can we be here with such a lofty goal and a lofty purpose and so noble? Because it's a non-physical reality. So anything of this physical world, not to mention that we hear it over and over again in the scriptures of the Bhagavad Gita, over and over again in Yogananda's teachings, that life is a dream, that it's not even real. The only reality is the Supreme Spirit that is invisible. So it's an invisible, intangible reality, non-physical. So we can't eat the candy. We want to be happy here. We can't even touch the candy. Be in the candy store, be in this crazy war zone, be in the fairgrounds or the amusement park, be on vacation, be in your work little cubicle, whatever, and it still is one thing and one thing alone, that we are here for unconditionally loving, consciously, unceasingly, unwaveringly, the one beloved that is the source of us. Perpetually united to God within their hearts. Soul and God eternally united, we could say. Right? Perpetually united to God within their hearts, unconditionally love him. Perpetually united to God in my heart today, oh Lord, I will unconditionally love you. Constantly, steadily, devotedly connected with you in my heart today, dear God. I look forward so much to unconditionally loving you, because I live for you, I act for you, I commune with you, just to respond to your love, my Lord. See these last words here? Is this not the essence of the Gita? I'm united in my heart with my beloved. I'm unconditionally loving my beloved, and vice versa. Beloved is loving me, and I live for him, her, it, act for him. Everything I do for you. Everywhere I go, I look for you. Every breath I breathe your love. God, God, crazy love. Oh, I'm in crazy love. I unconditionally love him. I live for him. I act for him and commune with him just to respond to his love and to revere him willingly. When I live life, I need God. I love that acronym from the big book, AA. When I live life, I need God. Willingly or willing. As a son and daughter naturally loves his or her father. All right. So we're going to elaborate now because these next two verses all talk just about that soul and God eternally united. All right. The sage, your consciousness, eternally united with God and unconditionally. Why unite with him? Because it's love itself. Unite with God / love / bliss itself. And then you live for that, you act for that, you commune with that, and you respond unceasingly in love, in reverence to that, as a son or daughter would to a father who has been the best father ever. Right? The best. All right, so here are verses 17 to 18. You all ready for this? Here's 17, verse 17. It's chapter 7, page 690. God talks to Arjuna, volume 2, chapter 7. Chief among those 4 seekers is the sage, ever constant and one-pointed in devotion. Ever constant. That means that you have carte blanche, you have total permission from the highest of the high command, that you can live today with your heart completely given over to unceasing loving going on between you and spirit and you and the beloved. You have, that's all God wants. That's all the Supreme wants. What is my purpose, Lord, on this life? And he's saying, just love me as I love you. Love me as I love you. No, Lord, there's got to be something that I'm going to do. Yes, it is. You're going to love me as I love you. Unceasingly, unwaveringly. That's all. That's all. What am I going to do? What am I going to be when I grow up? Right? As my what am I looking at? How am I looking at my life? What is going to go on my gravestone? You know? She loves. She loves. He loves. He loved. He showed. He gave and he conquered. Right? Or she came and she conquered. So chief among all those seekers is the sage, ever constant and one-pointed in devotion. For I am exceedingly dear to the sage, and he is exceedingly dear to me. What does Yogananda say? I am the nearest, God is the nearest of the near, the dearest of the dear, closer than breath and heartbeat. I am the nearest of the near, the dearest of the dear, closer than breath and heartbeat. For I am exceedingly dear to the sage, one who just loves me for love's sake. Loves for love's sake. Does that seem like a maybe noble purpose? Is that now a possibility to devote yourself to something that is really moving you towards being unswerving, immovable, you know, unceasing, unconditional? Have you, let's just see if we can just absorb what God, our soul, that are united together right now, are trying to give to us as an experience this morning in the grace and the awareness, right? Just a touch of the master's hand. That's all we need. A little boom, right? But we go on loving because that loving is going to bring the boop. All right. Here's verse 18. Remember, they're coupled together here. All these four kinds of men and women are noble, but the sage I consider indeed as my own self. So if God were to take on a self here and say, this is God, this is me in this soul, it would be in that sage, united together as one. Makes sense. I consider that this sage as my own self, 100%. There's no filters, there's no layers that peel off. It's just pure soul, self, capital S, spirit. Unwaveringly is he settled in me alone. Is she settled in me alone as her utmost goal? Settled. Are you dreaming about, striving for, settling down in this life? After roaming, I have been roaming for countless incarnations, ever seeking for thee, right? When are you going to settle down? When are we going to settle down? How about settling in God alone? You know what today is not for anything that is a performance, not anything that you can, in a material way, touch, see, taste, smell, touch, or get kudos from other people, or get kudos even from the rich and the famous, if you even need those, and on like that. And what it is for is to be settled in your purpose, settled in your mind and heart. That my only purpose is that today is to be in tune with this. Yogananda calls it coming up, lub dub, the love of the heartbeat and the dub of the heartbeat, one heartbeat, love dub, love dub, love dub, L-U-B-T-U-B, coming up. It's from him. I never even read that before in all my years. The love dub of the heart. This little song from one of his prayers. Let every beat of my heart be a love dub. Love dub. We can call it love dub. Let every beat of my heart be a brand new word. Let every beat of my heart be a brand new word. In my endless love lyric to you, my Lord. In my endless love lyric to you, my Lord. I've been writing so many love songs, singing them to thee, my love. I've been writing so many love songs. And this is my part I added to those first words that were Yogananda's. And singing them to you, my Lord, from my heart, 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 just for you, my Lord, from my heart, just for you. love dub, love dub, love dub, love dub. And then in another poem, he said this: breathe in me the way to love you, that I might learn to faultlessly love you. There he's asking the Lord, breathe in me. So breath and heartbeat, nearer than the near, dearer than the dear, closer than breath and heartbeat. But we're going to really perfect, master our attention and our devotion on the breath and the heartbeat, because in that split second of eternity, we can experience the whole experience in one love dub, right? And settle down once and for all. Settling down after roaming incarnation after incarnation, moving around, never being content, never finding, never being close, just touching all the candy and eating all the candy and doing what we want to do, right? So let's see what Yogananda comments here on these two verses, 17, 18, the last one ending unwaveringly is he and she settled in me alone as the utmost goal. Settle down, my dears. Settle. This is a life to settle it, to come up with a settlement between you and that mind. That mind needs to get into that heart and stay there and never come out. And just that beat, every beat of my heart be a brand new word and my endless love lyric to thee, my Lord, right? Because we got to focus on that love dub now, because it's going on 70 times a minute where you might only be breathing 18 times a minute. So the love dub is going on 70 times a minute. We can be in a love affair, a unique romance with the divine. And of course, 18 minutes if you're focusing on the breath. In either case, you're getting nearer to the deer, closer than breath and heartbeat. Is that divine presence? Is that beloved of yours? Yes, indeed. So here's what Yogananda said: inwardly fixed in God, devoted only to him, the sage is ever constant. Inwardly fixed in God, devoted only to him. The sage is ever constant, always tranquil, unchanged, and unaffected by the oscillating waves of nature's delusive forces that play over the surface of his being. Imagine that your mind is so cloistered in your heart, and that your soul has given you and is giving you all the power to stay steady in that realization that the only thing today is the love dub, the heartbeat, and the breath. Inhale, exhale. Let not one breath come in, as Krishna says in the Gita, that enters these lungs, does not set my heart on high and my soul on fire. Not one breath, let not one breath come in. It doesn't set my heart on high and my soul on fire. Not one breath, not one either. Love dub, love dub. Let every beat of my heart be a brand new word in my endless love there. We got so much loving to do today. It's so important. It is the highest use of our day, to be aware of the heartbeat and the breath of life. And love is the heartbeat of all life, the heartbeat of all life and the breath of all life, right? Well, really, you're going to take today for granted? You're going to go on your miserable way and it's stuck in the miserable thoughts and the feelings and the quite frankly, crazy desires? All that needs to be water under the bridge. All of those old shenanigans of the ego mind, the sense mind, and the fickle emotions is now water under the bridge. And these worthless desires are worse than waste your time. We don't want to waste any more time. We got so much loving to do here. In these 18 breaths we got every minute and 70 heartbeats. Not can turn his and her, this is the sage, attention from God as our supreme goal. Nothing. Nothing can turn your attention away from being united with God in your heart and unconditionally loving him as he loves you or she loves you. Isn't that enough? A unique romance? This is the purpose of existence. This is the supreme commander is just a lover, divine lover, right? I don't remember what just happened. I can't remember a thing. I can't remember what just happened. I don't remember a thing. 'Cause I'm feeling way too amazing. 'Cause I'm feeling way too amazing. Oh, lover, beloved, and a sky full of joy. Oh, lover, beloved, and a sky full of joy. You are here for the taking. You are here for the taking. And I just want to read you another classic thought to hold forever in your heart. If you were to say, what is the essence of my life? What is the essence of this Gita? What is the essence of my purpose today? Right? It's going to be when we get to the end of the sage section or verses. Well, actually, it's just one verse away from the one we're on, one more, and then we get to this last line of verse 19. I can't wait. I couldn't wait till we get here. So I wanted to read it. Wise men and women attain me only after many births, because it is so seldom that even a sage understands that I, as the indweller in the tiniest atom and in the soul of man, am the nearest of the dear and the nearest of the near, attainable instantly. After all this about 4 seekers and the final one, the sage, we spend extra time on the sage. The fourth and the greatest one is one that just want to love you, Lord, just loving you right now. And you're loving me, done. I'm the wisest of the wise, the greatest of the great. No, it does not go to the head. Nothing goes to the head anymore. It goes all into the heart, into the love affair, because love just wipes out any kind of conclusions you may draw, which are going to be wrong if you're thinking like a mortal. Okay. But isn't that beautiful? It's going to take a long time to understand one thing, that source, supreme spirit, as the indweller, is in the tiniest atom and in the soul of everyone and everything, is the nearest of the near. And here's the kicker: attainable instantly. Attainable instantly. What? And the beat, that's why we got to get into the beat. The beat of the heart. And the beat, depending on if you're walking, if you're slowed down, if you got some news or something, it upbeat, that heart going on all different levels today, right? Anyway, so let's go back to settling down. Let's go back to settling down, in the real settle down, finally, after incarnations of roaming and heartbreak and disillusionments, suffering and pain, bereavements and separations and divorces. What? It's our lucky forever today. So inwardly fixed in God, devoted only to him, the sage is ever constant, always tranquil, unchanged, and unaffected by the oscillating waves of nature's delusive forces that play over the surface of his being. Yes, because in constant conscious lovemaking with the divine, I mean, come on. And you're locked onto that, the greatest love story ever told, the greatest love you could ever experience. And that you can't even, by using words, we belittle it, we bring it down, right? You can't describe it. That we no longer are affected by any of that because of the love union we're in, the love making we're having with the divine. It's real. It's real in those heartbeats and in those breaths. And in the craziness of a soul drunk with the presence, drunk with it, the realization of its oneness with the present, the love itself. Wow. Not can turn his attention away from God as a supreme goal. Not so. What we're saying is nothing can turn yourself away from loving, even on a physical level. If you can deem to even call it loving, if you're true to yourself, is that really unconditional? Is it ongoing? Is it improve, increase the deeper nature of each and not touching the candy is visible? Spirit, bliss, consciousness, right? We're too busy in that divine love affair to worry about anything that this world has to tempt us into, and any news today or anything. And the story that wants to come up and take you over, your old story, and you to repeat things and keep feeding into that story, time's running out. Time's running out. He and she is the wisest, who wholeheartedly and one pointedly seeks God, for he is the dearest to him. You are the wisest, my dear, who seek out this heartbeat, who seek out this next inhale of his love, and the next exhale of giving all your mind, heart, strength, and soul to your one love, to your first love, to the one beloved of your forever. Instantly, instantly. And wisest is that great Mahatma. Rare is that Mahatma that can get to this point that we're talking about right now and sustain it, of course. That's what makes it a Mahatma, a great soul. And an awakened sage is the sustainability of this. So we might understand it for a moment this morning, get a little glimmer, a little glimpse, a little flicker, a little bit of a woo, a little lift up from it. But to keep it there and your whole, why you go through a day, one day today, just a day at a time today. I mean, many of us aren't in, very, we could even like kind of stay away from people, make it easier on ourselves, stay away from the iPhone all day long or whatever, and spend more loving time with the beloved today. It's the only thing it wants. The supreme commander of all that is, the supreme spirit, all it wants is your loving attention today, and to be loved and to give love back and forth with that divine beloved. Can't say this enough. This is the essence of everything. All right. So let's talk about it even more. He's the wisest who wholeheartedly and one pointedly seeks God, for he is nearest and dearest to him. When a devotee's yearning is deep enough, today we're settling down. God's going to bless us with the deep realization and conviction that nothing is worth leaving the heart, abandoning the heart for thoughts, for a desire for this or that. Let's settle. Let's give those back to those are the gifts. We want the giver. We don't need the gifts. If we go to giver first, we get all the gifts. If we go to the gifts first, we're losing out on getting all of the giver. So when a devotee's yearning is deep enough, it brings a rare loving response from God. Such a man and woman fulfills God's desire. Wow, when a devotee's yearning is deep enough, this is what fulfills God's desire for you. God's will be done. You want to be happier? You make God is happiness itself. And when he becomes happy because you're getting it and you are close to him and you're feeling who you really, really are, one with him or her, right? You're going to get a very rare, loving response from God. It's rare because somehow people are missing the point. But maybe you could put it another way. What's worse than missing the point is that this doesn't mean anything to them. I guess that's missing the point. When a devotee's yearning is deep enough, it brings the rare, loving response from God. First of all, be deep today. Be unceasing in your loving, right? Have no other desire percolating in your heart. Just a pure, burning heart's desire. Burns like a fire every minute, every day. My soul affirms, I am love. My heart sings, I love you. Do I love you? Right? Remember that song? My heart's desire burns like a fire. Such a man and woman fulfill God's desire for a unique romance with each of his creatures. You better quote these. You better quote some of this stuff. Page 690. Come on now, bottom. This is the essence of the Bhagavad Gita right here. Maybe it's all been the essence of the Gita. When every page, any verse, we've gotten down to the best essence that we can understand essence to be, right? I think in each of these streams, God blesses us with that. Even though we're not like sitting doing formal meditation and doing all the stuff that seems to be, holy and everything. Well, how can you really experience God without meditation? I think we have some understanding going, right? We do all our meditating before we get on this line. So here we can absorb in song and in laughter and in good energy another approach to God, because most of this day you won't be sitting in a meditation chair. Most of this day you're going to be out and about, or in and about, or you're going to be about something, right? All he wants, all the Supreme Spirit wants, is a unique romance with each of you. It says right here. Therefore, among the four kinds of devotees, the sage who acts in this cosmic dream with God consciousness only and with supreme one-minded devotion. Guys, girls, this is really this is the essence of the Gita. This thing about the sage here. We're really blessed. I mean, lifetimes, hundreds, thousands, who knows how many. We've totally been in the dark, totally been blinded by delusion, totally off the mark, right? This doesn't mean, God didn't mean anything. And anyway, it's been a long, long and windy road. And to be hearing such to the point, bottom line, most important thing for every aspect of life in this physical world, no matter where you are in the inner worlds, how high, whatever, to hear this is such a blessing. To take this really in today and pray on it and meditate on it is such a big, 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 giant step. And we're used to these beautiful baby steps for sure, but every now and then it's nice to just take a big, giant one too. And see how much love you can give to the beloved and receive from the beloved today. Just see, with your mind on nothing else. Leave it alone. It's not real. God doesn't even want you to focus on it. He isn't. He's the love. He's the bliss. He's not this story happening in the news. He said, don't be, put on the news, but don't listen to it. Be in the candy store, but don't touch the candy. Be in a conversation with someone, but just look right into them right into them and see the divine beloved, right? Don't even try to understand why they're saying this. Why did they say this? Just see through them. All right. So something something came up in my as an old daily download of divinity, and it came up, and it really ties in with what we're going to be hearing in today and in the next week or two on these verses as we cover the sage. The essence of everything is the sage God, and you're so united forever, eternally, God and soul eternally. All right. So this is what I wrote some time ago. It's called Water Under the Bridge. Come on, baby. Okay. Throw out the money changers and insist on peace and quiet in the temple of your mind. After all, it is your mind you live inside of, and you can set the determination to have anything you want going on there. A determined soul is one is determined to be one. Your soul resides in the cranium of your head and is in a static bliss 24/7 until you no longer care about days. You don't even think in terms of 24/7. Then it's forever bliss. Not 24/7, it's forever bliss. Restlessness, resistance to meditate, negative thinking are now water under the bridge. Why don't you add to some of those things that you want to be water under the bridge now in your consciousness, in your emotion, and your desires. Those are the big things: thoughts, emotion, and desires. Just work on those three today. See how much water under the bridge they can become: thoughts, emotions, and desires, worldly desires. Okay. The sky is not the limit, unlimited bliss is. Loving presence doesn't discriminate about a good or bad day. Right here, right now, love loves you. Right now, you are in bliss. Okay, so what else is new? This is new. Every person you meet, you want to fall in love at first sight with. Yeah, good one, man. Right now, you are in bliss. So what else is new? This is new. Every person you meet, you want to fall in love at first sight with. See right through their mortal disguise and into their essence of light. You will smile. You will have true spiritual success when you smile at hello, goodbye, and all the time in between. Be a smile millionaire and smile all the time, advises Yogananda. Frowns, gloom and doom, devil's advocate, labels and judgments and biases are now water under the bridge. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, make a sharp right turn into the creative, fun, intuitive, spontaneous, and spirit-loving hemisphere of your brain. Sharp right, into the intuitive right side of our brain. Then use your five senses to be grateful for and appreciative of the unfolding miracle of life while you're in that creative heart part of your brain. A perfect day is when you love each moment fully and completely. You can have a perfect day today. We're shooting for a perfect day today. Is when you love each moment fully and completely. That's 86,400 opportunities one day. 86,400 opportunities every single day. Must have done some math to get those, how many breaths? 18 a minute, then did the math. That's 86,400 opportunities of being aware of your lover as your breath every single day to be in love's eternal embrace. 86,400 opportunities to score a goal, touchdown, home run, base hit, whatever, whatever, whatever. Your left side of the brain, you're on the right now, right? You made that sharp, right? Your left side is now water under the bridge. You don't think linearly anymore. You don't think like a mortal anymore. Your mortal brain is now transformed. You turned it in, you handed it into the divine for the cosmic brain that you were born with. You just had forgotten, and it kind of made some other detours along the way to forget about how beautiful and cosmic you are, right? Turn yourself into your soul, and no questions will be asked. The last time you felt this way was your last 100 lifetimes. Well, when never felt so kind of confused. Well, last time you felt this was your last 100 lifetimes. Wake up, little Susie. Wake up. To keep going round and round and round is now water under the bridge. That was just part one of I guess I did 2 blogs on water under the bridge. Not bad, huh? I got some good giggles out of that. All right. So that devotee, so we said the sage who acts in this cosmic dream with God conscious only and with supreme one-minded devotion is closest to him. That devotee has an unconditional love. Unconditional love. You don't need a condition for anything. You want unconditioned. You want a decondition. Your human story. And quit making it up today and inventing other little things, detours, little, waste of time things, because your mind is just accustomed to thinking in terms of those things. Really? That sage loves God without a selfish motive, without a business-like arrangement. I'll pray to thee, O Lord, provided thou dost give me health, money, and grace. Between the wise devotee and God, here's another gem. There is a deeper exchange. Remember, this is taking us to the very essence of the meaning and purpose of our lives this morning, my dears, and of the purpose of this creation. Everything is right here. So it's an unconditional arrangement. It's not one that has a selfish motive or a condition on it. Like, Lord, I'll pray to thee, but you better give me health, money, and grace. Between the wise devotee and God, there's a deeper exchange. Remember those 2 words today, deeper exchange. You need to go deeper within yourself than you've ever gone before, and stay there for as long as you've ever done before. Break a record or 2 today in your being in the inhale, lover's breath. God loves you so much. And then your exchange, I love you with all my heart, mind, strength, and soul. And then with every beat of my heart, love dub, love dub, love dub, right? Maybe a new word. Right? And listen, that's going 70 times. You have 70 times in a minute for that love dub and 18 times for the breath in a minute. So you got to live in each present moment, and the future will take care of itself, right? That's the greatest gift to give yourself, is the present. Between the wise devotee and God, there's a deeper exchange. What is that deeper exchange? What are we talking about here today? That of fathomless love and affection. What? I posted another. I'm such a wimp when it comes to dog things and everything, but I got a HeartMath sent out a thing about a vet that is all intuitive, been integrating, with his intuition, been a HeartMath student for years, been a vet for 40 something years. First 10 years he was treating, like a regular vet, but then he realized that he had too much love in his heart for these animals. So he's next 30 years, he just said, okay, I just want the ones that no one else wants because I'm just going to love them and heal them. Anyway, I heard that, but um, um, but there's a thing I put up on Facebook. It was a lab, I think, and his owner died, and the rest of the family took him home every night. He disappeared for weeks, months, years. Didn't know where he went at night. He always come back. Well, they discovered, you've got to read the article. All right. Then he went to the grave because it was kind of, the grave was not buried underneath. It was just part of it on top, flat. And it slept there every night for 6 years. Unconditional love, unconditional loyalty. And that's why this vet is going on a whole new tear of getting people who really love their animals to learn to build a field to love others the same way as they love their animals, to build a field. Why not? Because he said most people have no other love but the love that is in exchange with their animals. They don't have a real relationship with life because we've cut off, right? We've cut off. We don't have the core. We don't have the noble purpose. We don't have reaching for the stars, to the going for gold, going for absolute freedom, liberation, right? That's the greatest quality of the soul to possess. This this that Tivra Samvega, as Patanjali said, which is extreme dispassion for the candy and complete passion for the owner of the store, the giver of the candy, right? The manufacturer of the candy. That this passion for the things of this world is taken care of through this unbelievable passion for God's love, this fathomless love and affection that is exchanged between soul and spirit. Affection, care. Someone's interested in you. To say that, I mean, you can't even use these words. I know. You can't even use them. But someone who's with you all the time just loves you unceasingly, adores you, adores you. We could say that in the sage. Soul adores God eternally. Ooh, ooh, maybe that is a little improvement in our little acronym for sage. Soul adores God eternally. Ooh, I like it. Let me know if you do too. I think it soul and God eternally. I think soul adores. It says the same thing. Soul adores God eternally. I like that, being a bhakti. We are officially now going 100% bhakti, because some people say, well, I'm part Gyan, I'm part to karma yoga. Go full out for the highest, the greatest that you already are. The love, the bhakti. That of fathomless love and affection. The sage's devotion is spontaneously actuated without reservation because it is offered in full faith that the loving, omniscient creator, the sole giver of all things, knows every necessity of every being. This is an interesting thought. You need to maybe meditate on it. that a sage's devotion is spontaneously actuated without reservation. Now, why is it so spontaneously actuated? Why is letting go of what seems so important to do and spending more time with the divine inside my heart in a loving way? This just takes me to a highest state I can be in today, right? The closest of the close is the nearer than the near is already here, my dear. Right? What's keeping me from feeling that? That the only thing that God wants today for me, and he's dealing with each person uniquely. And all he's saying to each one, I need you and me to get together today. All right. That's kind of what it's saying, because that without reservation, that offering in full faith that that knowing that the loving, omniscient creator has everyone covered like he has you covered. That's what it's saying here. The sole giver of all things knows every necessity of every being. The sage is therefore knowing that God is giving everyone the same treatment across the board. Every creature is totally got God coverage, divine insurance, and all that beautiful stuff. Divine Mother's grace is already there. That's why you don't have to pray for it, right? You just got to keep loving because that opens all the doors and that does the actuation without reservation. But you know that God is taking care of everyone. So here's what happens. The sage is content then. Contentment. Santosh. Contentment with whatever the Lord deems best to give or withhold. So you're okay with the world. You're okay with how your life is going. That doesn't mean you're always not always I want to improve it, blah, blah. You can start an argument right now. Right? You can start an argument right now. And what do you mean? Everything's okay in my life. He's content, whatever the Lord gives him, because he goes back to love and he goes back to his refuge in his heart. Yogananda also said in a place when I read these lines, I never forgot them in his teachings. Never, he said, never dwell on that which you cannot do and you should not do and cannot have. Never dwell on that which you should not do and cannot have. The candy, the gifts. You'll get those, but don't forget the giver and his what? Fathomless love and affection for you, your soul, yourself. He is that self. In one's conditional seeking of the Lord, he is conscious that the suppliant is more anxious for his inferior or superior gifts than for the giver himself. So in the conditional seeking, the Lord knows that if you are more anxious for something that you want from him as an inferior or even a superior gift than himself, than the giver himself. Work on this one. Love on this one, I should say. Love on this one. Why are you even going through the steps or of being on a spiritual quest such as the one that we are being presented with here, right? Put a new fire, light a new fire on it. You got to get down to your core. Why? And in the littlest things today, just today, right? Through these precious breaths and heartbeats. We got to get down to what it means to us. We don't want to waste this day. We want to be totally about the giver today. It is not wrong to pray to God for necessities, but when the devotee prays for divine communion, see, this is what we got to be, take another deeper dive, a deeper exchange. This is where you can't fudge anymore. You can't kind of let that mind just kind of get slippery on the slippery slope of your mind, right? You should not be hoping, even when you pray for divine communion, you should not be hoping in the background of your mind for the bestowal of a favor. What am I getting? Most life is like way. You do this. You want me to do this for you? Okay, now I'm gonna get something from you. You may not say that, but you're gonna maybe do the arithmetic and add it up in your mind. And then then when it's time and you ask for a favor, if the friend doesn't give you that same kind of willingness to help you out, then you go, well, he's not, whatever happens. But we don't want to have any kind of strings attached to our relationships, my dears. None whatsoever. His mind should not be concentrated on gifts, but solely on the giver. When the devotee can do that in reality, all the giver's gifts also, as the Bible says, are added unto him. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Are you ready to shake the divine hand? I often say that quote right there, seek ye first this loving, fathomless love and affection relationship with the divine. Unique, to you and him and no one else. They have their uniqueness with it. And that uniqueness somehow homogenizes into a great bliss oneness that we're all going to be in together. It's a really good thing. But this quote, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else will be added onto you. All right? Just, you might not want to shake that hand in the presence of love. You might just want to go in there for everlasting arm, into the everlasting arms, right? And I'm going to give you a little Jesus calling from today, just because it just triggered something that I read this morning. The eternal God is your refuge. The sage adores God eternal. That eternal God is the sage's refuge. And underneath the refuge are the everlasting arms. Make a deal, not the deal of a deal. Make the deal between your soul and the Supreme One who wants that soul back to him in complete bliss, conscious, awakening, liberating, oneness, bliss, everlasting deal today with your beloved. All right. And whatever happens, enjoy being in the candy store. Like Socrates would walk around the market in the mornings. He loved to do it and see all the things that were available to purchase and get excited about. And someone said, Socrates, you don't usually buy anything. He says, yeah, I just came here to look at everything that I don't need and I don't want. Be in the candy store of life. Leave the candy alone. Go after the one who's the sweetness and the one who is the fathomless love and affection for you. God bless everyone. Thank you so much for coming on the Gita stream this morning. Love you with the same love that my soul loves the divine. I love you all with that same love. And Yogananda reminds us, may thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion. And may we be able to awaken thy love, Lord, in all of us. Om Shanti Shanti. Amen.